Have you ever just decided to do something and boom, you have something to do for a few weeks? Kind of funny how I never got any video game ideas and then at random that happens, like how it did a bit over 2 weeks before this video was posted. This is a story of the second week of development of Staying Ahead, the video game in question. If you haven't watched the first devlog yet, I suggest you do first. However, I will recap real quick to make sure everyone is up to speed. The first week of development saw me making the player avatar on Marble by using a tutorial I found on YouTube, which I linked in the first devlog, then building a lobby. That was the first day. In the following days, I did a lot of scripting, first finishing the data store script I left half finished on day 1, then scripting name tags, teleportation, and the bare bones gameplay. I left off last week after finishing the main game loop of start round, play round, finish round, start intermission, repeat. Now that we have caught up, let's get into the video. On the first 2 days of this week, I continued to script some of the extra gameplay features. This mainly meant building the reward system, among some other small things. The reward system was the biggest thing I scripted this week, and it involved making a reward UI, implementing the way that leveling was calculated, and actually rewarding stuff. Currently, you earn a fixed amount of coins for each placement, and experience points are calculated based off of how many players you finished ahead of. The reward calculations are likely to be reworked at some point before release, as I don't like how much experience points second, third, and similar placement receive. Also, it's an exponential calculation, so without a bunch of players, you aren't gaining much. Day 2 added 2 major changes, which were removing the near-perfect cylinders around the map, which was compensated by making the hitbox visible instead. The main reason for this change was the way that your camera would exit the map way too often. The other major change on day 2 was adding a teleportation at y=0 so that you wouldn't ever hit the bottom of the map, you just teleport to the top. You may see a problem with the high detection system having issues with this, but I had seen the need from this from the start. So I had added a sort of effective Y coordinate system which is set at 1 million at the start of the game and ignores any upward position changes of more than 1000 studs in one frame, allowing teleportation to the top. I did also change the coin rewards on day 2, giving all players a fixed amount of coins if there are less than 6 players. After I added all these things in the first 2 days, I spent the next 3 days building the 23 maps. Days 3 to 5 were spent building the maps, and I had them split up into difficulty. Day 3 I built the 8 easy maps, day 4 I built the 8 medium difficulty maps, and the final day, day 5, I built the 7 hard maps. So I went into day 3 ready to build. The easy maps are relatively simple, as I had every basic idea available to build without seeming repetitive. As you can see, this map is entirely made of spheres, and this one is just random platforms. I was finished with the easy maps in about 80 minutes, averaging 10 minutes to build a map. With how basic some of these are, this may seem a bit long to spend building, but I also had to clone these maps dozens of times to fill the 10,500 studs that I had to fill. Day 4 was the most difficult, or I was just lazy. I had to complete the 8 maps over 3 different building sessions, and the last one was just a demoted hard difficulty map that I had built earlier to test the game. I believe the main reason this was a harder day was the fact that all the easy ideas are taken already. Unfortunately, this does not mean that the map ideas were any more creative. I mean, we have this expanding blocks map, but that's just about it in terms of somewhat creative map ideas. Day 5 was the most fun day, as I could now just finally let loose and make all the hardest maps in video game history if I wanted. 2 hard maps have a new type of block that adds 50 points to your total when you touch it before disappearing. This basically means that you must spend another 3 seconds in front to win. These maps are called Simple Edition and Checkers. Checkers may very well be the hardest map in the game, considering that it's made entirely of these point-adding blocks. Either way, the hard map designs are likely the most creative. One of them, Corrugation, is, as it sounds, a corrugated map. Oh, and after all these maps were finished, there were more than 38,000 descendants in Server Surge, more than half of which are all the medium difficulty platforms V2 map. Alright, so in this video we started with the skeleton of a game and gave it meaning and maps. To recap, we can now earn coins and experience points from playing games, see our placement once we finish a game, teleport to the top after reaching y=0, and play on one of 23 maps. That is, once I build a voting system to load them in. Said voting system will be built next week, along with the cosmetics shop, and if there's time, I'll learn how to make the music tracks for the game. The actual composition of the music will be left for a later devlog, however, so if you want to see when I make that, like, subscribe, and join the Discord server, a link in my channel page. Alright, that's about it. I'll see you in the next video.